Were the Democrats really following the science? Remember when the Democrats told us to follow the science? Democrats insisted that lockdowns, masks, and social distancing were the only way to combat COVID-19. But was it really about our health? Or was something else at play? Dr. Fauci and the so-called experts pushed these policies with an almost religious fervor. We were told that lockdowns would save lives. Yet we saw businesses crumble, jobs disappear, and the economy grind to a halt. The mental health crisis, particularly among our children, exploded during this time. The isolation, the fear, the disruption to their lives, at what cost? What we're left with is the chilling realization that we may have been sold a narrative, one that conveniently served a particular political agenda. Was this really about science? Or were we witnessing the heavy hand of government overreach, using a crisis to control our lives? It's time to ask the tough questions and demand honest answers. The real pandemic, lockdown fallout, and societal decay. The true tragedy of the pandemic wasn't just the virus itself, but the societal unraveling that occurred under the guise of fighting it. The economic fallout was swift and brutal. Businesses, many family-owned and operated for generations, were shuttered. Millions lost their jobs, their livelihoods, their hopes for the future. The education of our children, our most precious resource, was sacrificed at the altar of fear. Schools, the lifeblood of our communities, were closed, replaced with the cold impersonality of online learning. Rates of depression, anxiety, and even suicide skyrocketed, particularly among young people. The very fabric of our society, our businesses, our schools, our families, was strained to the breaking point. The power play: how politics trumped science. Let's be clear, this wasn't just about public health, it was about power. The pandemic provided the perfect opportunity for the Democrats to flex its muscles, to control the narrative, and to advance its agenda. They used fear and uncertainty to justify unprecedented government overreach, encroaching on our freedoms in ways we never thought possible. Look at the stark contrast between red and blue states. While Republican governors, for the most part, adopted a more balanced approach, prioritizing both public health and economic well-being, their Democratic counterparts seemed to relish the opportunity to lock down their citizens. They used the pandemic as a battering ram to push through their own ideological agendas, from expanding government control over healthcare to limiting our Second Amendment rights. A dangerous precedent, erosion of trust, and the future of freedom. The consequences of this massive power grab extend far beyond the immediate impact of lockdowns and mandates. We've entered a dangerous new era, one where trust in institutions is eroding and the very foundations of our freedom are under attack. The legacy of these policies is a society scarred by division, distrust, and a creeping sense that our freedoms are no longer secure. We've seen firsthand how quickly our rights can be stripped away, justified by vague notions of public safety and the greater good. The question we must now ask ourselves is, what are we willing to tolerate? Will we allow ourselves to be ruled by fear? Or will we stand up for our rights, demand transparency from our leaders, and reclaim our freedom? We must be vigilant. We must be informed.